All right, guys, let's react to Ted Cruz defending Israel. Now, before you call me anti-Semitic, I'm just reacting to a conversation that Ted Cruz and what's his name? Tucker Carlson. They had like a week ago. They had this confrontation, and I want you to see the reasoning why Ted Cruz thinks that maybe the U.S. should join the war. So no commentary here, just listening to how Christians think. So without further ado, let's see what's going on.
Let's get into Iran momentarily, but you suggested it was a strange thing that I said a minute ago, that when I came into the Senate, I resolved that I was going to be the leading defender of Israel. And what you didn't ask is why. So let me tell you why.
No, you said I was obsessed with Israel, and you had just told me that, like, your driving motive to get to the Senate was to defend Israel. I'm like, I don't think I'm the one who's obsessed with Israel.
Okay,
I don't even think about Israel.
Tucker, words matter.
Uh-huh.
And you know that. I said I resolved to be the leading defender of Israel, and you said your driving motive, the reason you're in the Senate.
You want to be the leading defender of Israel. I would think if I ran for Senate, I'd be like, there are people dying of drug ODs on the street.
My driving motive is to fight for Texas and America, and to fight for jobs, and to fight for the Constitution. And you played a very, very careful word game of eliding
You're the one who said it, not me.
So you still haven't asked why, but I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
And the reason is twofold. Number one, as a Christian, growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it, and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does...
Oh, man, look, I hate to say it, man, but you can't claim you're a Christian and you don't read your Bible. Now, Tucker Carlson is, he's preparing just for him to fall, because he can't defend himself. And what he's referring in Genesis, I think, is Genesis 12 from verse 2 or something like that. We'll take a look at it at the end of the video. But man, this is a trap, and Ted Cruz is not realizing it. Right? Though both of them are MAGAs, so you wouldn't think that they're against each other, but wait for it.
Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Well, hold on.
No,
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected...
He's the prime minister.
Right.
What?
But just like... America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle
This is silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
believe
Israel.
That's what God was talking about in Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is. So I don't know if we can...
I don't remember the scriptural citation. But Okay, I keep...
It's like Genesis 16 or something like that. But yes, it's in the earlier part of the book. But the point is...
All right, Tucker, you keep interrupting me before I finish my sentence.
It's just important to know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're... So you're saying as a Christian, if I believe in Jesus, I have to support the modern state of Israel?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm explaining for me what my motivation is.
But okay, so I'm just trying to understand. You said God tells you to support the modern state of Israel in the Bible, in some place in the Bible that you heard about, but you don't know where it is. That's your theology?
You're going back, am I a sleazy feline again? I mean...
If you accuse me of anti-Semitism again, I will say that, but I don't think you will.
Try to be a little less condescending. I'm trying to have a conversation.
Condescending. You're throwing this stuff out, and it's my job to figure out what you're talking about, and I don't understand.
But you're not letting me...
Okay. I'm sorry. I want to be polite.
That is, for me, a personal motivation. But I also, what I was about to say, I don't believe my personal faith, not everyone who I represent is a Christian. It's not an argument for me to give that we should do this because of my faith. And so as an elected official, I don't give that as the reason we should support Israel. That is a personal motivation for me, but I don't think it is the reason we should. The reason that I am the leading defender of Israel is because Israel is our strongest ally in the Middle East, an incredibly troubled part of the world, and supporting Israel benefits America. And the clearest illustration of that is what is happening right now. Let me just make this point, and then...
Okay, and then I'll just ask what you mean. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, Iran, I think the most acute national security threat facing America right now is the threat of a nuclear Iran. I think China is the biggest long-term threat, but acute and near-term is a nuclear Iran.
Okay.
And I think Israel is doing a massive favor to America right now by trying to take out Iran's nuclear capacity. And the reason I view Iran differently, we talked before about Iraq. I opposed the Iraq war. We talked about Syria. I opposed military.
All right, we are going to stop there because, now, if you want to watch the whole thing, just go to Tucker Carlson's page. But let's take, for example, just for a minute, let's assume Abraham was a true living being, because he wasn't. This is all mythology. Sorry to hurt your feelings if this is your first time in the channel. Sarcasm is what we do here, okay? So... Don't even type in the comments. Oh, blah. No, back to the point. Let's just assume for 1 second that Abraham was a real person. Tucker Carlson brings up a good question. How would you know if these are the people who was being referenced to in the Bible? The current state of Israel right now, the 48ers or 48ers, the Zionists. Are they the ones described in that book? Would you agree or would you disagree? Now, my whole point of bringing this to you was to show you how church brainwashes people. Now, this is a grown-ass man, a politician in the Senate who used to run for presidency a couple of times, talking about that he went to Sunday school and he was taught that whoever blesses Israel gets blessed. And he wants to be on the winning side, on the blessing side. That is manipulation. Raise your hand if you blessed Israel, Yasharel, whatever you guys want to call it, and you've been blessed. Put in your comment, how did you bless them? And how did you get blessed? Because if that's the case, everybody around here would be blessing them and they would get blessed. But that's not the case. But maybe that's just my experience. If you have a different experience and you've blessed Israel and you've been blessed, hey, let us know in the comment. But this just goes beyond people's imagination. Believing in mythology and stories, and then we're in a war saying we're going to support, or the U.S. is going to support Israel because, if you bless them, you're going to get blessed. Now, I like the point where he said it's a strategic partner. Now, that's a valid answer. But the biblical stuff, it goes to show you this book has manipulated even the so-called elite of this country. Now, y'all tell me, Who are the real people? Because that's a question that's been looming on my mind. Because around the corner over here, I got some GMS group, Hebrew Israelite group, preaching they're the ones. You got IUIC blowing up my timeline on YouTube, saying that they're real people. You got those settlers out there in the Levant saying that they're the real ones. You got some other here. I mean, it's everybody in this corner of the earth claim to be the God chosen people. And Christians believe that God has a favorite child, the apple of his eye. Well, if that's so, who is it? Because nobody knows today. Everybody claims on, whether you're Igbo or the Yoruba, whatever. The Hebrew Israelites, the Zionists, the Ashkenaz. Who are true children of God? That's the question for you. I'm out, y'all. See you on the next one.